Well, good evening and thanks for joining us tonight at 9. I'm John Adams.
And I'm Sarah Scarlett. Our top story tonight.
This is America's day. This is democracy's day. A day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge.
The United States has a new president tonight. Joe Biden, along with Kamala Harris, officially taking the oath of office and being sworn in as president and vice president.
Biden becomes the 46th president of the United States, while Vice President Harris is now the first African-American and Asian-American woman to serve as vice president.
The ceremony taking place in front of a much smaller crowd than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic and safety concerns stemming from the attack on the Capitol just 2 weeks ago.
About 1,000 people were invited to the ceremony, as well as former presidents Clinton, Bush, and Obama, and former Vice President Mike Pence. In his remarks, President Biden called on the American people to work together to restore faith in the government.
To get more perspective on what this day means for America and where we go from here, we want to welcome in our political analyst, Dr. Brian Calfano.
Brian. All right, let's get right to it. A lot of what we heard today from President Biden followed the theme of unity in America. How do you think the message was received by people around the country?
Well, good to see you, John and Sarah. I think overall it was received quite well. These are the sorts of events that are almost like political ritual or celebrations of holidays in some ways for us, because we're renewing our commitment to American democracy as a democratic republic. And whether you voted for Biden or you voted for Trump or somebody else, that whole ritual, taking part in that collective practice of renewing ourselves and our sense of commitment to the country is really central. And I think most people, including Republicans, felt that today in terms of how the event went and the different aspects of it. It was much more solemn than these events usually are. They tend to take on a little bit more excitement because of the thousands of people who are usually in attendance. But because of the circumstances, in a way, I think there was actually a little bit more solemnity about this particular event, and it was quite appropriate given all of the challenges the country is facing at the moment.
Now, Brian, President Biden wasted no time getting to work today. He signed 17 executive actions, including a 100-day masking challenge for Americans and starting the process of rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement and the World Health Organization. What impact do these orders have, and does this set the tone for the pace that the new administration wants to move at going forward?
Well, Sarah, they've got very specific impacts in terms of what those executive actions do. As you said, rejoining the Paris Accord, rolling back travel bans and the sorts of things that the Trump administration tried to do in its first few days in office. And so you've kind of got this tit for tat going on between administrations, executive orders from one administration overturned by the other and vice versa as you go along. The problem for Biden and for his administration is going to be that the heavy lifting on issues like the $1.9 trillion package for COVID relief is going to require Congress. And more specifically, it's going to require cooperation among Republicans in the Senate. Even though Democrats have the numeric majority, there are enough Republicans in the Senate to really make things difficult in terms of getting that spending bill passed in its current form. Biden's going to have to work with a quartet of Schumer, McConnell, Pelosi, and himself to make this thing work effectively and to advance his goals, because those goals in that $1.9 trillion package are just way too big for an executive order to happen.
All right, our political analyst, Dr. Brian Calfano. Brian, thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks, guys.
While the focus was on President Biden today, now former President Donald Trump took his final flight on Air Force One as he said goodbye to the White House. The 45th President of the United States held a farewell ceremony and thanked his supporters before leaving Joint Base Andrews for his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida.